Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. So today what I want to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how the enemy is aware of what they are saying and doing. And they are waiting for your usual reaction / response when they engage with you, you know? So a lot of us have some of the similar beings that we are continuously around, even if we minimize the engagements. And we have been doing a lot of work internally, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't stop the opposition from continuously using the same tactics to try to get a reaction out of you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only re-speaking on this subject is because this has been one of those continuous attacks that, you know, when you get in these people's presence, it's almost like you have to keep reiterating the same thing to them over and over and over and over and over and over again, to the point to where you done use and exuded way more energy than you was planning on actually giving. You know what I'm saying? And that's usually always the case when dealing with them. But I had a subtle situation recently. It was like I could tell they was doing what they could in the spiritual realm to kind of do the similar tactics to kind of get at me or whatever. It's just always weird because you get a mix of energy and motion, because you get the actual spirit and who they are, and then, you know, you get the one that's painting the picture for you and the real ill intentions that's behind everything. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta remember, and I also have to remember myself as well, which I am self-aware, so I constantly put this in place 24/7. I'm speaking of this because I tried a new tactic today. So, but they're always gonna rerun the same tactics. And if you have been around certain family members or friends and you always have to reiterate the same thing to them, whether it's, hey, don't touch my coffee, or hey, I asked you not to move my keys, or hey, I asked you not to do this, or hey, I asked you when you come in, could you take your shoe? You know, if it's gonna be something that's more personal for your situation per se that you're gonna experience, when it's gonna be a continuation of the same attack. You know what I'm saying? And for me, this one that I just recently had to experience, re-experience, it was like, I don't know, once you've already addressed it, and I know I've already addressed it multiple times, then it's no point of addressing it anymore else. You know, you've addressed it as many times as possible. You came up with as many solutions as possible. So once they keep reiterating that, now it's your job and it's my job to make sure that my response and reaction is not the same. See, for me, this being knows that I'm a warrior. They know that I'm a very responsive person, even if I come off like a reactionary. It's because my responses is very calculated. But for people who don't understand that, they'll think that it's just a reaction and that it's just words being spilled out. But that's never the case. But they retried one of their tactics again. And instead of me re-saying something about it, right, I finished on and carried on throughout my day, or what I was going to do as far as while they was in my physical realm. And then I made sure I went out my way to drop them off, you know, instead of going through the back and forth process of reiterating the same thing and putting that same energy out to the universe, which they know they can expect every time, you know. So that was like a huge like internal plus. And I say that because, like, certain situations that you don't always respond to or react to will eventually require you to respond or react. But if you are in situations where you feel or you are constantly reacting and responding, then that's going to be one of those situations you're going to have to flip and tell yourself to shut the fuck up. That's what I have to do, and that was one of the hardest things to do, was to tell myself to shut the fuck up. Stop talking. Don't give no explanation. Don't ask why. Don't ask what's up. You just ignore the shit as if it's non-existent, which is extremely difficult for a being like me who just lives organically. So I realized like that was a huge plus eternally, and it was a huge step forward when I have to face that battle again later on down the road. But in the meantime, between time, while facing that situation and engaging and dealing with that and not giving it the energy it wants, I didn't battle outwardly or with them spiritually. I took that battle within myself. And that battle within myself was much harder because I felt like I didn't need to beat myself over it. But it was like, it was either that or it was going to be outwardly. You know, it's going to be engaging and giving energy to this other entity the way they usually want it. So you have, that's what they mean by you have to pick your battles. You know, I chose to not take that battle outwardly, and I chose to take that battle internally within myself. And it threw my crown chakra and my third eye. When I say these two was like all chaotic up here, sometimes it's usually this area, but dealing with this situation and forcing myself to shut the fuck up and not communicate outwardly was extremely difficult, you know. But it, you know, when you practice and you put yourself in these situations and you work on yourself while you're going through these situations, when you face them later on down the road, it's gonna make the process a lot easier for you. I know I done chose to take a lot of the hard roads, and I know most of us have chosen to take the hard road, or we wouldn't be where we at right now, you know what I'm saying? But when you dealing and engaging with these beings, you have to know which situation you're engaging with and how you're encountering that being. So like I was saying, if this is my mom and then I'm always shutting up, then it's gonna be in a situation where I'm called to respond and react. I'll have to start responding and reacting more because they're used to me being not responsive. When it comes to the other being, they're maybe used to me being more responsive and more reactive. So now instead of me feeling like I need to respond and react because that's how I was doing with my mom, which is a different situation, I wouldn't approach this one the same way. I would tell myself to shut the fuck up because I'm always responding and reacting. So I wouldn't be able to use the same tactics per se for this situation as for that one. You know, I'm able to individualize each situation. I may look at it all as if it's the same team, but you have to handle each piece differently, you know? So it's just being aware of that you are gonna be in a position where they're gonna make you feel repetitive, you know? And it's not worth giving them the energy if you don't have that energy to give. Simple, because sometimes you have the energy to give and you want to give it, but you may not always have that energy to give. And I know per se for me, I didn't want to re-give the energy, you know, and I had it to give, but I didn't want to re-give the energy. And even the thing is with that, it's like once you get past a certain point with people and they've been in your personal life for a certain amount of time, certain things have to get excluded. You know, it's no longer a mistake. You've been engaged in my life and they've been engaged in your life for over 2-3 months, over 6 months, over a year, 2, 3, 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like a 1 week span or 1 day span. You're just introducing and meeting somebody. You know what I'm saying? So once you figure that out and you have to take that turn and take that battle on, if you take it within yourself or if you feel you need to charge it out, but you have to process your situation that you're engaging with. If it's your coworker or, you know, or your boss, or whether it's your spouse or a sibling or somebody, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a different approach for everyone. It's not always going to be the same approach for everyone. But the thing is with that, they are still part of the opposition, so it's never going to change. Like, it's a very small percentage that shifts out of that space. It requires a whole lot of work. Look, y'all have to realize, like, the amount of work we have to stay in to be in this space and to continue to be in opposition. You could only imagine how hard they're going to have to work to pull themselves away from the opposition to be a part of the natural flow of things and not get backlashed every 5 seconds from the opposition, because they still, you know, they're still having residue from however long they was over there riding with that team. It's not going to be an easy process, but most of us ain't taking the easy road anyway. So for us, it's just understanding which battles we're choosing wisely. You know what I'm saying? And some battles you will get sucked into, unfortunately, but you have to be prepared to defend yourself. You don't have to be prepared to attack, but you have to be prepared to defend yourself at all times. I am huge on defending yourself at all times. You don't have to go out attacking and cutting people's heads off, but you do need to defend yourself. I chose a different position, you know, so as for me, I will be out here walking around slicing heads off. So you just don't step in these shoes' way if, you know, you don't want those kind of issues over here. We following the natural flow of life. That's what we do. This right here, we are in cahoots with all this natural flow. You know what I'm saying? And everything that's going against it is an opposition. I ain't want to run it up too long, though. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.